Listen, son is finally asleep, baby monitor's on, coffee is reheated. I think it's time to do this video. What's up, homies? My name's Damien. I write really chill music, and I'm an educator. I love teaching music production and just things that I'm learning in the world. I am forever curious about the world around me and love so many things that I'm the type of person I read and study and go really hard into like one thing until my brain is like completely consumed by it. And right now, that is hardware. But before I talk about hardware and kind of the crux of this video, I gotta give you some like my background story of how I got here. Hey, before we jump into today's content, I do want to say that the channel is officially partnered with Guitar Center, so if you need anything from guitar picks to a Tollmaster Pro to a LA2A to anything, please consider using the link below. It helps support the channel to make this type of content and to keep everything, just keep the motivation up on YouTube. So please consider check that out. Guitar Center has been so gracious to me to supporting the channel and sending equipment for demo purposes. Thank you guys, I would just greatly appreciate it. I have only been producing music for the last 3 years, and for the majority of my life, I've been a musician. I picked up my first instrument when I was 11. In middle school, I started off playing flute. I was the only guy in the band section that played flute, but that was alright. During marching band season, when everybody else was outside getting all stinky and sweaty, I was inside with all the beautiful girls, and it worked out. I married my wife because this one time, we met at band camp. True story, by the way. No, but I started off playing flute. Throughout my high school years, I played flute, piccolo, baritone saxophone, and then I wanted to get involved with Drum Corps International, so I picked up euphonium, marched euphonium for 2 years. Ended up not doing that, went to the Marine Corps instead, so, life decisions. Now, keep that in mind, because I kind of ran from music when I went into the Marine Corps. It wasn't until, COVID, whenever I really got the bug to get really big into music again. And then 2 years into chasing guitar, I decided to go back to school and get a secondary degree in music production. So I'm relatively new to production in terms of like people my age who are doing this. A lot of guys have been doing it for 10 plus years, their whole career, right? So to start off, getting into this, I mostly have done production inside of a DAW. Specifically, when I was at Full Sail University, we were using Pro Tools and Logic Pro. I've since switched to Ableton, but even just starting out, it's just so much more cost efficient to get virtual gear than it is to get physical gear. When I was at Full Sail, they give you this thing called a launch box, not to be confused with a lunchbox. In it includes, a MacBook Pro, Logic Pro license, Contact. I think they were giving us 14 complete and a bunch of VSTs. And then you go through your whole training seminar learning those tools. So I have always been introduced to the world of production with a guitar, and I used to mic an amp before I got into digital amps, and then I got into a huge plug-in phase, and I used to be completely against analog, saying it was just like this fad thing, because I just couldn't justify spending, $1,500 on a compressor when I could get every compressor available for $1,500 software replica. But here's the thing that's kind of changed is that, I have so many plugins because on Black Friday deals, man, you can get some crazy stuff. But the problem is I haven't been producing any music, and I realize there's a trend. I will record in some type of MIDI sequence or write out a chord progression for orchestration, and then just get lost in analysis paralysis. Now let's talk about my hardware acquisition. It really started about a year ago. On Christmas time, my wife bought me my first synthesizer, the Korg Minilog XD. That opened me up to the world of actually turning knobs. Listen, unless if you're extremely disciplined, you will not understand synthesis and how synthesizers work until you start turning knobs and you start understanding the different types of what an oscillator actually does, and the different types of waveforms and filters and cutoffs and, the whole amp release sustain decay model. It's just really hard to get the same experience learning wise in the box that it is outside of the box. The big turnoff to hardware is it's expensive and it's very labor intensive to record, and I'm gonna come back to that in a second. But for me, I have been getting so much more done in the past month since I started really investing in hardware. I sold off some gear and used the rest of my post 9/11, and I am investing everything in hardware because there are some true benefits to it. Now, in full disclosure, I've been building up a little company here on YouTube and using YouTube as my main marketing source for my company. And with that, I was like, man, maybe I should make some sample packs for my guys so that way they can put together like jam sessions and really take the music theory we talk about to a different level. Then I start reading my software agreements and come to find out that's illegal because you don't own the instrument. You do not own a virtual instrument. You own a license to use it for commercial purposes. Any type of resampling is technically illegal. Now, there are a case of like, I create the sound, I bounce it, I do a bunch of EQ, I'm flipping it, I'm reversing it, so by the time that I go to sell this product, it is completely different than where it started. That's a legal gray zone. Good luck. I don't know, I'm too much of a goody two-shoes to roll the dice. So if you're making music, you got nothing to worry about. If you're trying to sell products and build a business outside of just music, get hardware. Alright, so income aside, the other reason why I really don't think I can go back to straight software is I just get more stuff done. Now there's a learning curve with hardware though. With great power comes great responsibility, and it's a responsibility to master your gear. This is going to continue to age like a fine wine, but I am already grabbing certain sounds, and like certain pieces of hardware are playing certain roles in my studio. Like the Moog Messenger, that is my bass tone. I am just now getting comfortable building it like my own tones with it. I still got a long way to go before I fully understand FM synthesis, but I've been bitten by the bug. The other thing is that like for my lead tones, like man, that Moog is also just rips. And my Yamaha, it does everything. Coming up this upcoming year, I will be doing more videos on the each gear specifically, but right now I'm in the phase of mastery. So that's why we're doing this vlog content, because I need to learn this before I can teach it. But the other thing though is that like when things have a specific role, I think it's easier to create. Like limitation breeds creativity. I cannot overstress that enough. And the other thing too, like in terms of production, it technically takes me longer to finish a song with hardware because I need to sequence the hardware and then I need to record that. So you can't just do like what I do on a software. Like if I have a software sequence, I can program all the MIDI, right click, bounce the audio, and then boom, it's all printed inside of my DAW. It's all processed and super fast, as fast as my M4 processing chip. But with hardware, you have to write the MIDI if you're not playing it. If you're playing it, great. I'm just not that great of a pianist yet. I'm taking lessons, so in 2026 is going to be my year to master the piano and finger drumming. But right now, most of the time, I am just sequencing my gear, which is pretty much standard in electronic music, right? I just have the bias of being a musician first, producer second. So with that in mind, by the time I write all my MIDI in Ableton, and really my MPCs are controlling a lot of my hardware gear, but then you got to print it back into your DAW. So it's a commitment. Like I will write a loop, and while that loop is running on repeat, I am turning knobs and getting stuff in. Then I record the sound. Now here's the other thing that's really cool about this entire process is, especially with an MPC, especially with my MPC X Special Edition, because it has all those Q-Link knobs, I went from programming production to performing my productions. So to give you a case in point, again, I am formally educated at Full Sail, so I learned the Full Sail way of production, and it is a lot of time spent with a mouse and keyboard, because that is the reality of being a bedroom producer or an independent artist without a huge access of capital in a big studio, right? Like you gotta do all this stuff for your own, and most of the time you have what you have, and you can't beat the value proposition of what a DAW provides. However, the first piece of gear that I got that has let me see the hands-on approach to production was the Roland SP404, which to this day I mostly use it for its outboard hands-on approach to things like compression, and its compressor is really good, the lo-fi stuff is really good, the vinyl warping is really good, the Jura chorus is amazing. There's a lot going on inside of that box that is amazing. Plus, if you learn about sampling, it's a pretty powerful sampler on its own. I just prefer the MPC workflow. I mostly use my SP404 for sound design. But having that hands-on tactile approach, it like really lit a fire in me. It's like, okay, if synthesizers are fun to tweak sounds on the fly, and then, the 404 is so much fun to actually shape that sound coming in, then that led me into getting my first MPC. My first MPC was the MPC Live 2 when it was running MPC OS 2. didn't click with me. I was like, man, this is supposed to be the bee's knees, but I cannot work this way. So I sold it until recently. I got a MPC-X special edition this year with MPC 3.0 rolling out. And now I've been hooked, dude. I don't know if I can produce without an MPC. Now, I'm not fully DAWless all the time. My rig is technically hybrid rig. So I have 2 stations set up. I have one station that is strictly for standalone jamming, and I use a Tascam Model 12, which can record that entire jam session, so I can do post-processing either in my DAW or within an MPC. But the thing that I've been doing the most is doing DAWless jamming to learn hardware. Once I have like built my sounds and got like a general idea of the workflow, then I sequence everything with Ableton and record it directly into Ableton. Then I'll take that audio and then I'll pipe it through like an MPC, especially the Live 3 with this new touchpad. Dude, it is so much fun to perform like a low pass filter instead of programming it in via automation. Now, the other thing that's like right now with our economy kind of being like in, I don't know, toss up mode, right now is a wonderful time to buy used. And the difference is like with my virtual plugins, it's kind of difficult to sell those licenses back if you can do it. I don't know, I'm sure some ninja will let me know that, yeah, this is how you do it, exactly how you do it. But for the most part, it's like once you buy it, it's yours, or you have access to it. With hardware, like if you buy used, you don't really lose money, because it's not like a whiskey. Like you buy it, you use it, and it's gone. It's like you buy it, it's an instrument. You have it for as long as you need, and then you can typically get your money back from it. And it just forces me to commit. It forces me to commit, which in turn has increased my productivity. No more endless tweaking software. It's like, okay, this is the sound, print. Okay, this is the sound, print. Okay, this is the sound, print. Okay, save that preset so I can recall it back for live performance. Yeah, man, it's just so much fun. I know I'm privileged to have a studio like this, but I have built this piece by piece over the years. So when you see the B-roll footage and you see all this fun synthesizer stuff, just know I started with nothing but a jailbroken version of Fruity Loops when I was in high school. And then it just slowly invests over time. You slowly get stuff. And then I think the best thing about having a virtual collection, then moving into hardware, is you get to learn what you enjoy without the heavy tax of learning that lesson. Like I know the next piece of outboard gear I'm getting because I have virtual editions that are amazing. And if Guitar Center comes through, I should have hardware on the desk here soon, and we'll do a A/B for hardware versus software, so we'll see. But hey, with that in mind, just want to say thank you for all the support throughout 2025. This has been an amazing year. We've grown a lot. Started a company, we're doing great. I am just so grateful. So some of the things that are going to be coming out in 2026 that's going to be slightly different than the content I've been putting out is expect more vlog styles like this, where it's just me and a microphone and talking to a camera. Also, I'm going to do a couple of different categories. So I'll have this vlog style, I'll have gear reviews. So if you're interested in production stuff and like a specific piece of hardware that I'm using, as I learn my gear, I am going to use the same format I use with the Toolmaster Pro with that gear. The other thing is like education. I am first and foremost an educator. I love to teach. It's my greatest spiritual gift. So expect a lot more teaching content, especially in production, because production is what I love the most. It's just so much fun, especially once you get into sound design. Like we got a lot of ground to cover, so there is no shortage of content coming out in 2026. But with that, I guess that's perfect timing. My son is starting to wake up. We were in this phase where we don't want to sleep, but we love to throw a fit. Anyways, hey, thanks so much. If you guys enjoy this content, please make sure to subscribe and let me know 1 or 2 things that you're excited about moving into 2026, and I'll see you in the next video.